Welcome to Migration Mastery, the corporate playbook for moving production Linux fleets from iptables to nftables. If your CTO has handed you a deadline, 200 servers, and zero appetite for downtime, you're in the right place. Over 12 lessons, we'll walk an 8-stage process: inventory, translation, staging, deployment, rollback, and sign-off. Production ready, risk managed, and built around the documents your team actually needs to close the project. Before we go further, let's be clear about who this course is built for. If you're brand new to iptables, stop here and take the beginner course first. This playbook assumes you already speak iptables fluently. It's aimed at 3 groups: IT teams who've inherited a fleet and a CTO deadline, senior sysadmins and DevOps leads who'll actually run the rollout, and platform engineers operating at scale on distros that have already moved to nftables underneath them. So why is this landing on your desk right now? 3 forces, all converging. First, the distros already moved. Rael 8 and 9, Rocky, Alma Linux, Debian 11, and up all ship nftables as the default. Your iptables commands are running through a compatibility shim whether anyone told you or not. Second, the NetFilter team upstream has called it nftables is the path forward. iptables gets bug fixes only. And third, EOL pressure. Rael 7 ended last June. So this migration isn't optional anymore. Someone scheduled it, and that someone is why you're here. So here's how we're going to run it. 8 stages, treated like a real project, not a weekend script. You assess what you've got, translate the rules, refactor to use nftables properly, then review with your team, security, and architecture. From there, you stage in non-prod, deploy with rollback ready, verify in production, and archive with documentation and sign-off. Each stage maps to specific lessons, so by the end you don't just have knowledge, you have a project plan you can hand to your team on Monday. Quick word for those of you who took the original iptables mastery course. Yes, the foundation carries over, but set your expectations correctly. That course was for an individual learner getting comfortable with syntax on their own VM. This one is for the team lead or IT manager who has to move a fleet of 200 servers through change windows with rollback plans and a sign-off at the end. Same NetFilter roots, completely different game. So how do you actually run this material? 3 paths, depending on your situation. If you're scoping things out solo, take 2 weeks and walk 1 lesson per day against a test server. That's your proof of concept track. If you're kicking off as a team, compress it into a 2-day workshop, theory and assessment on day 1, deployment and rollback drills on day 2. And if you're already committed to a full corporate rollout, treat the course as the project plan itself. 1 lesson per phase, deliverables mapped straight to the modules. Here's the full arc at a glance. Lessons 1 and 2 set context. Why this migration is on your desk and what actually carries over. 3 through 6 handle the technical core, assessment, translation, and the nftables features that justify the move. 7 through 9 are pure project management, playbook, coexistence, and the performance numbers you'll show leadership. 10 through 12 are execution, real scenarios, rollback drills, and formal closure. Analysis, execution, sign-off, that's the shape of the project. And that arc produces tangible output. 6 artifacts, every one of them something you can hand to a project manager, a CTO, or an auditor. An inventory of every rule, a translated and peer-reviewed nftables config, your own deployment playbook, hard performance numbers, training materials so your on-call team isn't lost, and the sign-off paperwork that formally closes the project. This isn't a confidence boost. It's a paper trail. Before Lesson 1, you need a lab. Spin up a Rael 9, Rocky, or Alma VM, 2 CPUs, 4 gigs of RAM, 20 gigs of disk, and console access, because you will lock yourself out at some point. Install both toolchains side by side, iptables, services, nftables, and crucially iptables translate. Verify iptables reports nftables as its backend, and NFT is on 1.0 or higher. Enable the service on the lab box only, never on production yet. With the lab ready, 3 hard rules before you touch a keyboard. 1. Never run these examples on production. Some of them deliberately break things to teach you the failure modes, so use a sacrificial VM. 2. Always arm the deadman rollback timer, even in the lab. Muscle memory is what saves you at 3 in the morning on server 147. And 3. Never trust iptables translate on its own. It's mechanical, it's literal, and Lesson 5 exists entirely because its output needs a human review before it goes anywhere near production traffic. And that human review point is exactly why this whole course is built the way it is. Migration is 90% process, 10% syntax. 3 principles carry you through. Inventory before you touch anything, because you can't migrate what you haven't measured. Refactor instead of transliterating. Collapse those 100 legacy rules into 5 clean nftables sets. And treat rollback as a first-class feature, because "we can revert in 5 minutes" is the sentence that gets your project signed off by ops and security. So that's the welcome lesson. Your test environment should be standing, your team should be aligned on the goals, and your iptables knowledge is dusted off and ready. From here, Lesson 01 gets into the why, the timeline that brought us to this migration, the business case in 3 forces, and how to document that pressure for the stakeholders who need to sign off. Your fleet, your playbook. I'll see you in Lesson 01.